A while since the break, everybody take a deep breath. And I'll do my best to meet my 12:30 deadline here, and we can all go to lunch. I'm Tom Grimshaw. I'm here today to give you a very exciting update on a project that is being done by myself and Rob Christian. And the third person I also want to mention right away is Seamus Lonergan, who lives down under, but he's been extremely valuable in this project as well. So the title of the talk is Archiving Legacy Videos of Cold Fusion Activities and Events. It's a project of the ISCMNS, but it's being done, let's see, there's another subtitle. It's a window to the early days of the cold fusion field. So, sorry about that. The objectives are to support telling the cold fusion story going back to the very beginnings in 1989, to confirm the importance of these legacy videos, in doing so, securing and archiving these videos. Because of the timing, the focus, at least initially, is on the VHS tapes. Let's see, it's Video Home Systems, which was the foremost technology at the time. And to organize these videos, capture them, organize them, and present them for easy public access and free of charge. So today's agenda is actually in two parts. I'm going to talk about the project itself, the methods we've employed, the tools, results, collaborations, and so forth. And then part two will be a little introduction to the website, the dedicated website that we're developing as the end game for this project. This program, those of you that have seen my talks in ICCF conferences and at this conference in the past, are probably familiar with the LRDI, Learner Research Documentation Initiative, which has the objective of recording and preserving researcher information while it's still available, now 35 years plus after 1989. The methodology shown in the upper right-hand corner diagrammatically is to interview. Once I've gotten the okay from the participant to proceed with the project, we do an interview, then make a site visit, at least one in almost all cases, sometimes more than one, to identify, document, and archive the records that are held by that researcher, and then to prepare a report. The umbrella on the right shows the participants that are working so far in, or that have been targets so far in the LRDI, and we have a total of 21, including, started with Ed Storms and then went on to Clater and Fowler, Dave Nagel, Chino Srinivasan, George Miley, Mel Miles, and so forth. So we have a total of 21 of these projects and reports, either completed or underway. So that's where this project got started. In doing these interviews and site visits, I learned that there were a lot of these VHS tapes in people's possession. More on that in a minute. So back in March 1989, press conference was held by Fleischman on the left and Pons. It was recorded with VHS tapes, which was the dominant technology. At that time, it had been introduced in Japan in the mid-1970s and continued as the dominant video recording technology until it was displaced by CD and DVD in the 2010 to 2015 time frame. This, of course, is a critical period for cold fusion events. And these tapes are magnetic tapes. They're subject to deterioration and loss. And so our objective, as I said before, is to present an archive, or to capture them, archive them, and present them not only for the cold fusion field, but for science in general, once the story gets out on exactly what has happened to cold fusion in the scientific arena. We've extended the project now where we also include more recent digital media. That's a screenshot from the tape for Fleischman and Pons. I think it was just before they started. So these tapes, as we've collected them, fall into basically 7 categories. Well, I call 6 plus everything else, okay? Conferences like ICCF conferences, American Physical Society, American Chemical Society, Bill Collis' conferences like this one, documentaries by public broadcasting system in the U.S. and others, as well as the New Energy Foundation. Events, government events, private sector, Black Light Power, now called Brilliant Light Power, had an event back in 1999. It was several days long in conjunction with the American Chemical Society. But that's an example. Interviews with individuals in various contexts, newscasts, all the major newscasts have put out coverage going back to the 2000 or the 1989 flurry of interest and ultimate disappointment when the, in my opinion, inappropriate rejection took place. Presentations, many venues, and others that are not in these other categories. So that's how we're classifying them. I mentioned that the whole project had its roots in the Lender Research Documentation Initiative. In particular, I point to Mel Miles and Tom Passel. Most of you, or many of you, know Mel Miles. He's still very active on the CM&S Google group. Tom Passel passed away just earlier this year. But both of these guys, we'd had very good LRDI projects with them, and during them I found out that they had just under 40 of these tapes in their possession that they had collected as a part of their cold fusion career. So the first step is to get them converted from the VHS format to the tape format to the digital format, and then post them on YouTube and the Internet Archive. More on that in a minute. We also found tapes on the web. There are a lot of these older cold fusion tapes that are still available on YouTube and on the Internet Archive. And then last, I want to particularly emphasize our collaborations with Christy Fraser at the New Energy Foundation and Tom Vallone at the Integrity Research Institute. Another source, 2 other sources, important sources of these tapes. So during the process of capturing these tapes, the first thing to do is borrow the tapes from the source. Mel Miles very nicely offered his, and Tom Passel lent his as well, but with the condition that when he passed, then they fell into the possession of the ISCMNS as part of the archive of this organization. Okay, so the first thing is to convert them to digital. When I was doing the 2 projects for Miles and Passel, I used this little gadget, VHS to DVD, which is really to digital form. Then once we get them digitized, they're put in a secure archive on Dropbox. All of the tapes that we digitized are kept there. And then we post them for viewing access. And that's what I want to spend the latter part of this presentation talking about. So far, we've done about 150 of these videos. It's very much of a web-based project, thanks to, in particular, to Rob Christian and his acumen and expertise in using online tools. YouTube and Archive are the 2 places where the videos are being posted so that everybody can look at them. Another important tool is Airtable. Probably not very many of you are familiar with that, but it's really a super spreadsheet is what it is. It has a lot of capability, not in a spreadsheet itself like Excel. but it's the main management tool. That's where we store the titles, the links to where the videos are, and to the descriptions of the videos, also to the Dropbox archive that I mentioned a minute ago, and then additional characteristics like where we got them from and the year and so forth. A dedicated website, as I mentioned, is being developed to present these tapes in an organized fashion. And then we're using also Trello and a couple of other project organization tools that, again, both Rob and Seamus Lonergan are very, very good at. Okay, I lost the, it doesn't matter. We can still read it if you want to. Well, if you want to put it to full screen, go ahead. They're large enough to read. Thank you. Okay, so a few words about the website, and then we'll do the tour. It's very much a work in progress. WordPress is where it's being developed, where they'll be easily available, no charge for anybody. It's offered by the ISCMNS free of charge. Organization for clear presentations by having web pages for each of those 7 categories. And these, many of these tapes are also currently on the ISCMNS website, but they're fairly disorganized at this time. And so what we plan to do is to replace what's currently on the website with a more organized and complete collection here, and then have, of course, a description and a link to this website from the ISCMNS website. All the information in this is readily by trickery that Rob Christian knows about, and another guy that has worked with me previously on the WordPress is actually constructing it. The two of them have ganged up on this and have worked it out where we don't have to enter new data into the WordPress website. It goes, the website goes and queries the spreadsheet and brings it back. Okay, so we'll talk about the titles, links, and so forth in a moment. I wanted to emphasize, as I did before, the importance of collaboration. We've had quite good success with Tom Vallone. He has sent us a lot of stuff. But even more importantly, I would say, is Christy Fraser, who's the editor of the Infinite Energy magazine and the manager of the New Energy Foundation. They have extensive video holdings going back to the very beginnings of the field. Many of you, I'm sure, know the story of Gene Melov. He was at MIT at the time of the election, at the time of the announcement in 1989, March 1989. And the way the announcement and subsequent events took place at MIT caused Eugene to resign in protest. He felt that it was a total mistake the way MIT was handling the cold fusion announcement. So, but he remained a very primary force in the field. Did a lot of covered a lot of events, did a lot of interviews, and there's a lot of material that Christy still has from back in those early days. Eugene Mello, many of you know, was murdered in 2004. It was a very unfortunate event where he was trying to eject people that were I guess you would call them homeless people. They were living in his parents' home, and he got crosswise with them in a violent way, and they took his life. That was in 2004. But Christy Fraser has been holding forth all these years before and after in keeping the Infinite Energy magazine going once every couple of months. I'm sure most of you probably receive that periodical. But they have tremendous holdings. Christy is now starting to send a lot of her holdings to us to get them digitized. She still has them in many cases in the original magnetic tape, in the VHS tapes. So we're working together with her to get these early materials digitized and then posted on the website, and also on the New Energy Foundation website. Currently, the New Energy Foundation has 141 of these vintage videos on YouTube, and you can go out and find them. Just Google for Infinite Energy videos, and you can go and see these 141 tapes. So when I found out about this, it really made a big difference in how we were going about this project, of course. We weren't just stuck to, begging the participants from the LRDI for their tapes to loan to us, but now we have this fantastic treasure house of materials from Christie. Future opportunities, well, we've got a lot more of these videos yet to find and acquire and get them digitized. So we're going to continue processing them, archiving them, and presenting them and developing the website. We want to do some in-depth research on selected videos. This is a very important video by Martin Fleischmann. I think most people who watch this and follow his command of the mathematics and his understanding of the phenomenon will be very impressed. And I think I've talked to Mel Miles, who corresponded a lot with Martin Fleischmann back in the day, and I think Mel asserts anyway that he was one of the few that really understood what Fleischmann was saying. Not taking away from anybody in this room, of course, but that's Mel Miles talking. Continue the collaboration with others to help get more of these tapes into the corral. And now we've extended the project, just beginning to collect photos from cold fusion history, thanks to Christie, that has a lot of these photos. Dave Nagel has a long history of taking photos at the ICCF conferences. And also the dormant websites. I've done LRDI projects with Peter Gluck and Ludwig Kowalski. In the process, documented their websites, but of course now they're, with both of them gone now, we're capturing those old websites. That was a project documenting the Gluck's Ego Out project, was a joint one with Dave Nagel. So here are the characters, myself, Rob Christian, and Seamus Lonergan. Both of these guys are extremely good in the digital world, but I'm really impressed also by Seamus and what he can find. I think he even goes and finds stuff on the dark web. Okay, part two. This is the website. I wish was able to present you the real thing, but it's very close, but it's still not quite ready for a demo. Here's what the homepage looks like with this header. Back up. So it has the categories there in the header. And then also there's a 3-paragraph introduction on the homepage. First one, a little bit about cold fusion. Second one, a little bit about the project. And the third, mostly about what's on the website and the videos that are here. And you'll recognize the same categories here that I mentioned before. So there's a web page, as I mentioned, for each of the categories. Plus there's a couple more, one for an overview of the International Society of Condensed Matter and Nuclear Science, and about the developers. So that's the home page. And we've still got some work to do on the font size. But this is typical. If we take the presentations category, this is what it's going to look like, and very close to what it does look like. There'll be an introduction up here on what. Microphone, please. Say again.
Microphone. Walk to the microphone that's here. Go to the microphone.
Microphone. Thank you. All right. My voice is weaker than I thought. Okay, so there's the title of the video. There's the link. When the user clicks on this link, it takes the user right over to where the video is on the Internet Archive, and the user can then look at the video, all right, and then come back and, well, once the video is done, just hit the backspace and come back to this web page. One of the real accomplishments of Seamus is preparing these little introductions of what's on the I didn't know that we were going to be able to put this all together on one place, so I thought this was going to be a separate link to go and look at these, but sure enough, it fits right on here. Then the year, and who we got the tape from, and then there's a unique ISCMNS number for each of the tapes. And once we get more of these populated and the web page is developed, there will be a sort by year, and I think it'll be a sort by most recent to the oldest website or video. Right. So I use as an example this one right here. This is a 1997 video by Mel Miles while he was still at the Naval Air Warfare Center. And I was hoping to be able to just click on it and that you see it, but instead I just am able to show you a screenshot of Mel giving his presentation on anomalous heat and helium production using palladium boron alloys in heavy water. This was actually at the Naval Air Warfare Center, and it was given, what is that now, 27 years ago? Let's see, 24 plus 3, yeah, 27 years ago. And so all these old tapes like this are going to be available on this website. So people who want to look into the past as it was recorded in these various categories, we hope to have them right there. So, and I think that's it. So thank you. Might even have gotten time for once.
Thank you very much, Tom. Indeed, this project should not be overlooked, because all of us, we know that we are in this field since 35 years, but we have the pleasure to see new faces in this room, and these new people might not be aware that this is a story going back 35 years ago. And all of us, we are getting older and older, young boy. Yes. So before we all pass away, we have to keep the memory of that.
That's why I say, while they're still available.
Absolutely.
And some of my participants are no longer available, like
Yes.
Srinivasan, Tom Passel, and a couple of others. So.
Yeah, they do say, Tom, that anybody who forgets their history is doomed to keep repeating it. And we should not forget the history of the field, because it does have some remarkable insights. But I wanted to mention that, especially in connection with infinite energy, that one of the things that we'll be doing at the gala dinner is holding a raffle, which is, a prize draw. Raffle is probably a purely English term, I think. A prize draw for 5 copies of the archive that Infinite Energy normally sells. Their generous sponsorship, Christy sorted it out for us, and everybody gets a ticket at the dinner, and then we'll pick the winners.
Yeah. Where do I buy? Thank you again. Any other questions? Or?
Yeah, Tom, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done. Everybody, give him a round of applause. He's volunteering. He is volunteering for it.
No.
I have one more question. Thank you very much for your nice presentation and presenting this material this way. It's a lot of work, especially for newcomers, as you said, like me.
It's a lot of fun.
People need to study all of this. But seeing your website presentation, I was missing a search engine, because where to find my subject? Is there a search engine for the website, or do you have an index table where you can look up the subjects and with a link?
Yeah. Well, right now we're just trying to bring it out of the ground, okay?
Yeah.
And then it will be readily findable using a search engine. And of course, there is a dedicated web page on this project already on the ISCMNS website, and so we'll we'll redo that and have a link over to this new one.
Okay.
But yes, it should very definitely be available to find with Google and other search engines.
But your own search engine is also in the plan.
Ah, hadn't thought about that. I'll talk to Rob. He's
Would
my,
be nice, would
he's
be
my
nice.
guy. Anyway, let's go to lunch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.